The Farm Journal Legacy Project presents Leave a Legacy. And now, your host, Kevin Spafford.
From Chester, Montana, welcome to Leave a Legacy. Over the past few years, we visited the corners and several points in between to bring you a cross-section of America's very best farmers and ranchers. A pleasant surprise is the variety of operations, from potatoes in the north to tropical fruits in the south, from nuts in the west to snap peas in the east, and several dairies along the way. We've seen a lot. What's not a surprise is the similarity of family values. Farm kids learn what they see, hear, observe, and experience at the knees of a caring parent. Today, we're in the Northern Plains, where Clinton Griffiths will introduce us to the Fritz family and Quarter Circle JF Ranch.
Big sky, big ranches, big farms, and big fun.
No, I don't really.
There's a lot of ways to describe this stretch of America just miles from the Canadian border. To the Fritz family and their Quarter Circle JF Ranch near Chester, Montana, it's home.
It's not for everybody. I mean, everybody doesn't enjoy this life, you know. You have to be, I don't know what, different, you know. But
it was John Fritz's grandfather who homesteaded this land back in 1909. Today, he and his wife Mary farm and ranch roughly 14,000 acres.
We've always had cattle, and cattle and farming together is kind of a good mix for us here.
Today, combines are running, cutting another golden harvest from that golden triangle.
It's the growing conditions, I guess, the lack of rainfall, the temperatures at the right time. We can raise some really high-quality wheat without a lot of input costs, and that's the claim to fame of the Golden Triangle.
That lack of input cost is just one way the Fritz family works efficiency into everything they do.
Actually, we only have one full-time employee, but we employ people, like right now, during the harvest, we've got extra people hired, and we're going to bigger and bigger machinery.
Rather than the 3 combines they used to have, this harvest happens with just one. One limiting factor for both farm and ranch, human capital. Finding help in this remote part of the country is a challenge. Luckily, the Fritzes have made friends.
There's a Hutterite colony, you know, about 15 miles north of here, and we have a good relationship with the farm boss. And if we call up and say we need 5 guys to brand, or we're doing this, or fencing, or whatever, we're vaccinating calves, and they're not too busy, we can get 4 or 5 guys, and they're excellent help. 2
of John and Mary's best workers have moved away.
Our 2 daughters, I mean, they were raised on the farm working just like boys. They were, in fact, I found the girls are best combine operators, and they're better with equipment.
Angie, her husband, and 2 daughters live in California. Her sister Jennifer and her family live in Seattle. Both are a long way from Montana.
I don't foresee my husband and I moving back here to manage the farm, but I feel like the land is a family legacy that has just grown and grown through the years, and I don't think my sister or I will ever want to get rid of it.
We always told them that we'd give them an option of farming or whatever they wanted, but we insisted they get good educations first, so they both have master's degrees.
What they did do was put a plan in place. John and Mary have divided the estate between both girls. Angie gets the farm, her sister the cattle.
My brother-in-law is actually from Wyoming, and he has had more experience with cattle, and the chance of him maybe coming back and working with cattle and living here are a lot stronger than my husband and I. My husband's a businessman. He's city-born, he's, you know, wears a suit to work, and I just can't see him here. So hopefully we can manage it from afar, or lease it to another relative, or find a way to keep it in the family. But I'm not used to these harsh winters anymore.
While returning to the farm may not be in the cards, she isn't writing off that possibility for her daughters.
We've berated them with stories of all the different generations. They know where the original homestead is, and they love the farm life, the running around outdoors, and hopefully that's something that they'll instill in their children.
So far, just visiting is working. At their age, these summer memories are priceless.
Well, it's a lot more remote here and a lot playing outside here than we do in California. We always have to be watched when we play outside there, so we don't get to as much.
For these two youngsters, winter isn't too bad either.
Probably sledding down the big hill behind the house it's really fun.
Yeah.
But age hasn't clipped these wings just yet. For John and Mary, the future holds so much promise.
It's fun time to be farming. Things are changing rapidly, and they're changing better economically, and for the environment. It's fun to see something that will improve our environment, at the same time improve my profit margin.
A self-proclaimed technology nut, John is taking all of those lessons, learning, and doing what he can to pass them on.
Grandpa taught me how, and I like to go out and bale. All I need help is with, I can't turn though, I crash into things.
But unless a girl is raised out here, it's tough because there's no, you want to go to the mall, it's 100 miles away. You want to go to a theater, it's 100 miles away. And they're just not, they're not used to that sort of life out here. It's quiet, it's remote.
And yet, to some, it beckons, calling the heart, fulfilling the mind, and brightening the future for this legacy to one day continue. I'm Clinton Griffiths, reporting.
Though their family roots go way back, Mary and John are forward-thinking and forthcoming in their goals for the future. Up next, I'll visit with them about the next generation of Fritzes and the ranch.
Pioneer Hybrid proudly continues its legacy of supporting America's farm families by sponsoring the Farm Journal Legacy Project.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. DuPont Pioneer proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
More often than not, the best solutions are the simple ones. When it comes to corn refuge, simple is better. Simple is here. DuPont Pioneer revolutionized simple with the broadest lineup of refuge management products. Better choices. Make it simple. Refuge Simplified by DuPont Pioneer.
What single product delivers benefits to growers, the food industry, and consumers? Plenish High Oleic Soybeans from Pioneer. Plenish High Oleic Soybeans feature high-yielding genetics, key defensive traits, and solid agronomics. But the biggest difference for growers is the possibility of increased profits from food industry and consumer demand for healthier cooking oil alternatives. And the benefits keep stacking up. Longer fry life, resistance to rancidity for increased shelf life, and stability under high heat. Plus, reduced buildup on equipment resulting in lower maintenance and cleaning costs. Consumers are looking for more health-conscious choices when it comes to food. Plenish High Oleic Soybean Oil has 0 grams trans fat and 20% less saturated fat than commodity soybean oil, with the highest amount of heart-healthy monounsaturated fat available in soy. With Plenish High Oleic Soybeans and Oil, there's something for everyone. And it's only available from Pioneer.
Mary and John are business partners, parents, and professionals. They share their responsibilities according to each person's capabilities. In our visit, we talked about the demands of a ranching career and life on the Northern Plains. Is there a plan? Do you have a business plan?
Well, the operation, we're going to stay involved for the foreseeable future, but what we are making a very great effort to do is train our people that work for us to take over more of the management decisions, and we're at there now where I think our the main guy that helps us, he could seed this place. He could do it right. He knows the land. He knows the cattle.
He's been so involved that he'll come up with some great ideas too.
And he's actually gives a lot of good input, a lot of feedback to us. So he is capable as we get older, and we may want to get more out of the active part of the operation, I think we can turn over more of the hands-on management to these people. And then our daughters, maybe someday when we're gone, if they want to continue the operation as a standalone thing or come back to the, I don't think either one of them have any real definite plans to come back to the farm right now.
About it?
They do. We have talked about it with them, and right now, none of them want to come and move home and, you know, be an active part.
The eldest daughter may someday.
She may. Her husband has some interest. But otherwise, they never want us to sell it. They want to manage it themselves, and I think they're both perfectly capable of it.
So maybe manage it with the current manager
We have no intentions of ever selling this land. I mean,
that's up to them.
yeah, if they want to, that's the next generation. I'm not going to put any
We don't want to tie them
hands
to
on,
anything.
but
How do you communicate that to them, or how do they
we
communicate to you?
discussed it and made it clear that once we're gone, they can do anything they want to with the land. And we've spent a lot of time on estate planning, and basically we took and divided the land into 2 equal farms. And I just called them Farm A and Farm B. And in my opinion, they were totally equal. And we're really lucky. We don't have a son or maybe 2 people in the family that were active in the farm. So both of my girls are on equal footing here. It comes back to the farm. The son that stayed on the farm, is it fair or equitable? We don't have to deal with that. So I made 2 farms, A and B, and sat the girls down at the kitchen table and said, these are the 2 farms. I'm going to flip a coin, which one you are going to inherit. And the one daughter said, well, I might want to run the cows and we may want to come back. So she wanted A, and the other daughter took B, and it was fine. So they know exactly what they're getting in it, and we set up a irrevocable trust.
A trust that.
And they get half of them, and half the land that they would receive when one of us passes away, and the other one could bypass that if you'd like, and then the other half, that way they got to be good to Ma or the survivor all the way to the end if they want the whole land. But there's no rule. I told them if you want to sell it, you can. If you want to operate it, you can. You can rent it out. You can do anything. There's no rules on it.
John?
I was lucky enough to use it. So.
Complementary characteristics are the basis of a good team. When we come back, I'll visit with daughter Angie and granddaughters Caitlin and Sarah.
Simply better forages. That's serious business to pioneer. Advanced agronomics, nutritional expertise, and silage management practices. We're talking more than 25 years of focused dairy research to develop the best corn silage hybrids, alfalfa varieties, and inoculants that fit your operation. Hey, they all gotta eat. Get more from your fields, more from your cows. We'll back it up with the service you deserve. Simply better forages. Only from Pioneer.
It's tough out here. But so are Optimum Aquamax corn hybrids from DuPont Pioneer. Performance and productivity under drought stress. Huh. Hot enough for you? Optimum Aquamax hybrids deliver, rain or shine. Only from DuPont Pioneer.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. DuPont Pioneer proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
Though she grew up on the ranch, Angie is married and living in Southern California. In many respects, it's a long ways from here to there. I sat down with Angie and her daughters, who represent a 5th and 6th generation. Angie, let's just talk a little bit about growing up here. Tell us about what's the best thing that you've learned about growing up here on the ranch.
The amount of family that I had near me. I had both grandparents within 10 miles of me, numerous aunts and uncles and cousins. I mean, we played from sunup to sundown all summer long with a group of cousins, you know, that instilled that close friendships where they're like brothers and sisters to me. And it's just nice having a small-knit community where you feel safe and everybody knows everybody. And at times that can also be a little annoying, but I would say mostly just having all the family around. I just remember being able to play all day long with my cousins and just have a wonderful time, and my sister.
Okay. And what do you hope to pass on to your kids from that?
I think the importance of family, always keeping in touch. I know it's hard, especially in this day and age where we're all so busy, to take the time to connect with your cousins or, you know, family members that don't live near you. And I hope that we've instilled in that the importance of staying close. Even though you don't see them day-to-day basis, they're still important parts of your lives. And also the responsibility of living on a farm. You know, we all had animals when we were younger that if I didn't get up, you know, it might have been 20 below, but if I didn't go feed my steer, no one was going to. You know, so that responsibility of taking care of the land and the animals and knowing that you have a job to do and you need to do it. And no matter how you feel or how the weather is, you know, so that responsibility, I guess, of knowing that you need to take care of your business.
You talked briefly about wanting to keep the farm in the family, the land in the family. Why? Why is that so important?
It just, the ties that you feel being here. I mean, I still always call this home. Even though I've lived in California for 13 years, I always say, oh, I'm going home. You know, it's like you're bound to the land. You know, you feel like you belong here, and it feels like a large part of me and how I was raised and how I'm the way I am, and I want them to feel that too and know the importance of, you know.
Do you see them spending extended summers or seasons up here when they grow up or as they're growing up?
Yep, I do. I see them coming out and helping out on the farm and learning how to run the balers and the tractors and all of that. I think they'll love every minute of it, and it'll be great summer jobs for them growing up.
Though she may not come back, for Angie, this will always be home. Stay tuned. Kevin's Classroom is next.
Simply better forages. That's serious business to pioneer. Advanced agronomics, nutritional expertise, and silage management practices. We're talking more than 25 years of focused dairy research to develop the best corn silage hybrids, alfalfa varieties, and inoculants that fit your operation. Hey, they all gotta eat. Get more from your fields, more from your cows. We'll back it up with the service you deserve. Simply better forages. Only from Pioneer.
More often than not, the best solutions are the simple ones. When it comes to corn refuge, simple is better. Simple is here. DuPont Pioneer revolutionized simple with the broadest lineup of refuge management products. Better choices. Make it simple. Refuge Simplified by DuPont Pioneer.
It's tough out here. But so are Optimum Aquamax corn hybrids from DuPont Pioneer. Performance and productivity under drought stress. Huh. Hot enough for you? Optimum Aquamax hybrids deliver, rain or shine. Only from DuPont Pioneer.
Welcome to Kevin's Classroom. Advice, ideas, and helpful hints to guide you down the succession planning process.
The buy-sell agreement is one of the most important tools for maintaining the integrity of a business entity. A properly written and executed buy-sell agreement will prevent inactive owners from gaining an ownership interest, ensure ownership continuity in case of death, disability, dissolution, and divorce, provide a ready market for business interest, possibly establish a business value for estate settlement purposes. A buy-sell agreement should be in place for every business entity held by multiple owners. At the most basic level, it provides a ready market for selling an ownership interest, establishes a valuation method, and spells out the terms and conditions of purchase without placing a fractional owner in an unfair bargaining position. A buy-sell agreement also restricts an owner's ability to transfer a business interest. The typical agreement spells out the terms, conditions, triggering events, and valuation methods under which an ownership interest may be sold. All owners of a business agree to the triggering events and provisions that a buy-sell agreement will cover, including death, disability, retirement, dissolution, withdrawal prior to retirement, and other circumstances. Owners must be mindful that the provisions of a buy-sell agreement can be written as an option or as an obligation. In other words, each triggering event will either create an option to purchase or an obligation to purchase.
For more useful tips from Kevin's Classroom, sign up for Legacy Moment, a free weekly email. Visit the Legacy Project page on agweb.com to register.
What single product delivers benefits to growers, the food industry, and consumers? Plenish High Oleic Soybeans from Pioneer. Plenish High Oleic Soybeans feature high-yielding genetics, key defensive traits, and solid agronomics. But the biggest difference for growers is the possibility of increased profits from food industry and consumer demand for healthier cooking oil alternatives. And the benefits keep stacking up. Longer fry life, resistance to rancidity for increased shelf life, and stability under high heat. Plus, reduced buildup on equipment resulting in lower maintenance and cleaning costs. Consumers are looking for more health-conscious choices when it comes to food. Plenish High Oleic Soybean Oil has 0 grams trans fat and 20% less saturated fat than commodity soybean oil, with the highest amount of heart-healthy monounsaturated fat available in soy. With Plenish High Oleic Soybeans and Oil, there's something for everyone. And it's only available from Pioneer.
The things you need to protect don't always come with a timeline. If your personal goal is to make sure your family farm stays in the family, you need to know where to turn for advice. DuPont Pioneer proudly supports the Farm Journal Legacy Project, a valuable resource for your succession planning and your children's future. The family farm is alive and well. Pass it on.
More often than not, the best solutions are the simple ones. When it comes to corn refuge, simple is better. Simple is here. DuPont Pioneer revolutionized simple with the broadest lineup of refuge management products. Better choices. Make it simple. Refuge Simplified by DuPont Pioneer.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Pioneer Hybrid, helping you get the right product on the right acre. Science with service, delivering success.
There might be one person in 100 who translates a want into a goal. Out of those, there might be 1 in 1,000 who follow that goal with action. Mary says the pressure to do it better, to prove herself, is nothing she can't handle. Confidence based on achievement. That's what leaders are. Mary, I want to start with your leadership. You have a leadership position in Farm Credit, now on the board with CoBank?
CoBank, formerly with Northwest Farm Credit. I started out at a local branch in Havre, Montana, on an advisory board, and some nominating committee got together and said, you know, we've never had a lady in the state of Montana. Let's give it a run. And I thought, ooh, I suppose I'm game for that. And I served on that committee about a year before I was nominated for a 5-state association board. And I was elected to that board and became chairman of that board. I reached term limits at Northwest, and I've been on CoBank's board since 2003. and I'm a vice chairman of that board, and now I'm a vice chairman of the Farm Credit Council, and I'm also on a, I'd call us a policy regulatory oversight committee of the system.
Okay, you're still full-time here in the operation involved. You're engaged here. I think that's what gives you real value on those boards. How do you do it all?
I used to do it a lot easier. Okay. I find now that I'm older, my organization skills are somewhat slackening off, or maybe my mind's in the clouds, I'm not sure. But it takes me a little bit longer to catch up when I do get home, and I burn a lot of midnight oil. I spend a lot of time in transit because of connections in and out of Great Falls aren't that great. You know, I go west, one airline, I go east, one airline, or south, one airline.
You spend a lot of time in airport.
I do. I really do.
So tell us a little bit about breaking into a man's world. I hate to call it that, but it's true.
It is, and it wasn't easy, but it has been so rewarding. And I tell so many young women that are very active, there's a lot of partnerships in agriculture. And the woman is usually the one that walks into the loan officer's office with all the financial information, and they're asking the couple, and she's providing it. And so she's a valuable member. And I think that having both sexes on a board adds value because we look at things a little differently, so you get the whole 360 view, and it just adds a dimension that wasn't there.
Give me one dimension. What's different?
Well, I would say that somebody throws out a new idea, a new opportunity. And my husband's told me this for years. You're the, oh, we can't do that. Well, we refine that and call that risk. I always see all the risk first and then the reward. And so you've got somebody looking at all the rewards and all the opportunities, and I'm thinking, okay, but this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And I've been so schooled in risk management since I've got on all these boards that that's the first thing I see. And by myself wouldn't be a good thing. But the combination of the guy looking at the opportunity and me looking at the risk is great.
So you bring in balance.
I think so.
Thank you, Mary. If you harbor any stereotypes about a woman's place and you think farming is a man's job, I hope we just put that to rest. Farming is a profession. Now, like never before, it takes brains more than brawn. It requires skills and abilities well beyond building a fence or carrying a load. It demands a quick and agile mind, combined with the ability to create a team and carry on in the face of unending challenge. Qualities not exclusive to either gender. Until next time, I'm Kevin Spafford, helping you to leave a legacy.